Okay, before we get to cooking, I'm gonna let you know what you're gonna need to buy and what I actually purchased to prepare what I'm making right now. So you're gonna need some instant rice. And you know, I feel the Great Value brand is actually a better instant rice than the actual name brands out there. It just gives it a better flavor and texture. It's just all good, okay? So if you've been buying the higher end brands or name brands, I'm telling you right now, I've tried instant rice and I don't eat it often, but this right here is gonna do the job and it's gonna do it even better. So I love me some Great Value when it comes to white rice as far as the instant. And yeah, so you're gonna need this. And then I have right here, you could use whatever you like, stewed tomatoes, whatever suits you and your taste buds and whatever's going on with you. But I'm gonna use the no salt added petite diced tomatoes. This is organic. It only costs a couple more cents, maybe, you know, just a little tad bit more than the regular, but this is what I'm gonna be using for this right now. And then I have right here some corn, and this is the Great Value organic corn, whole kernel. And then I'm gonna have me some chicken bouillon. Let me grab that real quick. This is the chicken bouillon, and I'm only gonna use half one of these. So what I do is I'm just gonna cut one of these in half, and if you're gonna make more, just double everything, triple everything, do what you gotta do. But I'm using half of one of these, and it's gonna be this right here. And then I have, let me grab this right here. This is going to be probably 1/3 of a large onion sliced. I have my chicken bouillon cube, which is a half of one, and I actually kind of roughly chopped it so it'll break down easier. And then I have right here probably a half of a teaspoon of garlic. So it's a small garlic clove chopped up, and then we're ready to go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of the organic Great Value extra virgin olive oil spray. This is a real go-to. I love it. And yeah, so this is one of my favorite pan sprays ever because it's just so good. Great ingredients, it's Great Value, good for its price. So before we actually put in the rice, we're gonna get these onions going. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this burner on to a high heat. We're gonna get it heated up. We're gonna saute these onions before we add the garlic because we don't want the garlic to burn. Okay, we got the onions in. We're just gonna kind of saute them until they actually start to soften up. I have it on a high heat right now, but now that it's heated up, we're gonna turn it down to a medium heat as far as your flame. And we're gonna soften these up a bit, and then we're gonna add everything else. Soft enough, and the reason why I don't dice them is because some people don't like onions, but onions give a lot of flavor to the food, and people actually don't realize that's what's giving flavor to the food. As far as your younger people, like the kids and the teenagers that think they don't like onions, then they decide they like them when they're older. No, anyways, it is what it is, but this gives it a lot of flavor, and this gives it the option for people to pick out the onions if they don't like them or feel they don't like them. So I'm gonna be adding this right here right now, and this is the petite diced tomatoes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my utensil right here, and I'm gonna let the juice go in first, and I'm gonna get as much juice as possible out of this can. And then I'm going to actually scoop out maybe a 1/3 of the actual diced tomatoes. Not too much. And then just get out as much liquid and or juice as you can. So I'm not using a measuring cup. Once again, I just got out just most of the juice that I can out of the can and or liquid, and maybe a third of the petite tomatoes that are diced. I'm gonna bring the heat up and we're gonna get this broken down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just kind of just smash up the tomatoes. We don't want them feeling too firm as far as texture. We want to break them down and just make sure everything just has a nice texture. So now I'm going to add the garlic and the bouillon and just stir it in. And you just want to give this time to actually cook, because the minute rice is going to cook up really quickly. So you want to just let this kind of cook beforehand so it has a lot of flavor to actually be absorbed into the rice. So you just don't want to toss it in there all together and let it cook quickly, because this is going to actually give the onions, the garlic, the tomatoes some time to actually do its thing and add some flavor in this, I guess, basically liquid and or sauce that you're going to be adding to the rice. So as you can see, the liquid is kind of thick because we kind of smashed up our tomatoes. So we're going to add in our rice. We're going to add in the sweet corn. I might not even add all of it because we don't want too much. So we're not going to do the whole half cup. We're just going to do maybe half of that, because now that I look at it, it's going to be too much. So we don't want too much corn in there. We just want little bites of it. And usually I make this for a bigger portion size as for more people. So that right there would be probably 1/3 of a cup of the corn for this particular amount as far as the serving size. And it's perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but it's good enough for me. So don't do the whole half cup. If you're just gonna do 2 servings, you're gonna use that for maybe 4 servings. So a half cup would be probably for 4 servings, or maybe 6. So just watch it on the corn. You just want little bits and pieces of it. So right now, you're gonna let it kind of dry up as far as the tomato sauce that we created. And just kind of let the moisture evaporate, if that makes any sense. And then we're going to cook according to the box and or whatever instant rice you're using. We're going to go ahead and add our liquid now. And if you're using broth, that's good. You know, just add some salt and pepper if you don't want to use the bouillon. But I'm just using water here, and I'm waiting for all this moisture to absorb. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the 1 cup of water. I'm going to turn my heat all the way down. Okay, I have this on simmer, so I'm going to go ahead and put the top on, let it simmer for 5 minutes, and we're going to have us some delicious 5-minute Mexican and or fiesta rice for any dish you want to add it to. And then we're going to actually just sprinkle a little bit of extra sharp cheddar cheese. Just a little bit, so you get a little bit of bite and just a little bit of flavor from the cheese. And we're going to let that melt and do its thing. I have my griddle turned up to 375. I'm going to go ahead and Hit it with the pan spray. Give it a generous amount and we're gonna get to cooking. I have some top sirloin, which is thinly sliced, and then I kind of gave it a dice. I bought it that way already. And I have some large shrimp, and then I have some sea scallops, which were really, really thick. They were large. I actually sliced them in half because they were so large, and I have the street taco size tortillas. So I actually just, you know, made them to where they're gonna be fitting the tortilla size. Basically. So yeah, so I do have 1 clove of garlic that I actually used a garlic press to press it, and I just kind of distributed it out, I mean throughout the entire plate, and I let it sit there until I'm ready to cook. So, you know, it's all done and ready to go. And let that get going. And since I don't want the beef overcooked and I kind of want it like a medium, I'm gonna go ahead and put my seafood on right now. So whenever the seafood's done, that's gonna be done. Regardless if it's, you know, medium, rare, whatever, I'm taking it off. And that's how I actually time stuff when I'm doing it all together, because the beef actually is going to come out good anyways, regardless. So now I'm actually going to just use this Dash onion and herb blend. It's really good. It gives it a good taste. So I'm going to put this on my seafood, and I'm going to put it on my beef. And then I'm going to actually put this on my beef, but not on my seafood. You can find this in the Mexican aisle, and it's pretty good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a generous amount of that. And it's called Hugo. And it's just kind of like meat seasoning. I'm going to add some black and white pepper to both. I'm going to add some sea salt because the actual Dash doesn't have no salt in it, so we're all good to go. You don't want to add too much to your seafood. That's one thing. Seafood absorbs salt really quickly and easily, so always watch that. So we have this seasoned, and we're going to go ahead and give it a toss. And you don't want the Hugo to get mixed in with this because it'll give it a whole different flavor. And we're just going for some different type of tacos and different types of flavors. So this is going to be non-traditional right now because I'm going to be adding probably a half of a teaspoon of, I can't believe it's not butter, the light one, only to the seafood side. So I'm going to go ahead and add that right now. A traditional thing for the beef, I'm gonna just, you know, drizzle on a little bit of Bud Light here. If a little gets on the seafood, I don't mind, but we don't want too much hitting the seafood. We don't want to change the taste. We're going for 2 different tacos. We're gonna have a seafood taco and a carne asada taco and or beef taco, whatever you want to call it. But we're gonna let this butter melt down, and the butter is non-traditional for a street taco and or taco, but this is just, you know, doing something delicious and just switching it up. With the Hugo, if you haven't used it before, the flavor goes a long way. Be careful with it. I'm gonna add just a few more little drops, but yeah, so if you're going to be using this, be careful with it. You know, do some taste tests and get familiar with the product before you go all crazy and add a whole bunch, because this actually packs a lot of flavor with just a tiny touch of it. So yeah, try it out if you haven't already. Okay, I have a half of a lime. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze a little on. the seafood. I have my heat up to 375 and we're gonna get this cooking. Let it get going. And then we're gonna make some tacos. And with the Hugo and a little bit of beer, it kind of breaks down the taste of the Hugo seasoning, and it's just gonna make it perfect. So we don't want to overcook this. I feel like my beef is almost ready. Okay, it's smelling really good in here. Everything is ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and toss this over here. Toss this over here. And we're gonna give this a light spray. And with all that flavor, we're gonna go ahead and add our tortillas on. We're gonna give these tortillas a quick cook. We don't want everything to overcook over here as far as the beef and the seafood, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip these. We're gonna have a nice soft tortilla. And we're gonna be able to plate this and it's gonna look pretty damn good. These tortillas picked up all the flavor. I did something a little bit different with my pico de gallo. I actually put my avocado in the salsa. So I have some fresh pico here, and then I actually added one medium-sized ripe avocado, and I just diced it up, and I stirred it in, and I let it marinate in the fridge for a while. So I'm not gonna be putting no avocado on the taco. It's all in the pico. So we have our avocado, our tomatoes, our cilantro, our onion, our serrano pepper. All right, this is how it's looking. I have my rice in the center. I put a dollop of the avocado pico de gallo, I guess you would call it, on top. Here's my seafood tacos. I only put the avocado pico de gallo on those, and then for my steak tacos I put a bit of extra sharp cheddar cheese along with the avocado pico de gallo, and it's looking delicious. Do I need a taste test? No, I've already ate it before, but just for you, let's get into this little taco, baby. Delicious. Delicious. All right. I'll take a bite out of this one for you too. Let's do it. We can't forget about the rice. I have a giant fork here. It don't look giant on camera, but this is a big fork. Let's give this a taste. The bite of the sweet corn with the pico de gallo and the sharp cheddar cheese on this rice. It's just so good. Simple, easy. Anyone could toss it together. Check it out. You're gonna love it. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.